Welcome to Prime Business. My name is Emma Davis. Chief Executive of the Chamber of Agribusiness, Anthony Morrison, has expressed worry cocoa processing companies may not be able to meet demand due to the shortage of cocoa beans. Bloomberg earlier today reported that the harmattan is partly to blame for the woes in Ghana's cocoa industry. The extreme weather, it says, has battered the crop after heavy rains swamped the fields, prompting the spread of disease and delaying harvest. Reacting to this report, Mr. Morrison called for development of homegrown solutions to address the challenges in the sector.
Some of our members that operate in the fruits of enclave will find it very difficult to fulfill some of their demands, some of which they have already been paid for. Those who are supplying the cocoa nibs, those who are supplying the cocoa powder, and those who are supplying the already final product, could be the chocolate or the final cocoa powder additives. So we are now looking at some of the stock taking. What are actually the emerging issues with the processors? What are the emerging issues that are also coming from the side of the farmers? Issues with logistics, transportation, warehousing. There are quite a gap there. Then also with government not being able to fulfill some of this work that requires to be done. So in short, the effect on the country quite high. Okay. And we will also not be able to fulfill some of our international trade partners with regards to purchases of already processed cocoa and the other value additions that we normally export to other countries like Japan, Korea, and UK and Europe, and some part of US as well. Climate change has come to stay. People can put in their own understanding and issues with regards to the whole theory of climate change, the issues of the amount of carbon dioxide in the system, and also all the other emissions that are being put together. And that is the reason why a lot of people have problems with the government tax on emission. So we need to look at it. Quite frankly, I think that we need a lot of homegrown solutions for the issues of climate change. We need to look at what quantity of agrochemicals we need in the country. And we do know that Europe, for instance, have instituted a new law banning some foods of forest origin from some countries in Africa. What is our position on that? Do we also need to begin to look at what kind of ban we can put in place for some of the agrochemicals that we are importing from Europe, some of the agrochemicals we are importing, most especially the substandard ones that we are bringing from Asia. Okay, so these are some of the things we begin to, our regulatory agencies, the EPA, PPRSD, Standards Authority, Food and Drugs, have to be very strong in this. It is estimated that we have well over 70% of substandard agrochemicals in the industry. And all these are constituted to climate change and issues that are permeating the industry now. We are now talking about seeds that are drought resistant as a result of the climate change. We are talking about seeds that are disease tolerant and all that, and high yielding seeds.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Cocoa Board has allayed fears of cocoa processing companies about the shortage of cocoa beans. Head of Public Relations at Cocoa Board, Fifi Boafo, said his outfit is working assiduously to make cocoa beans available for the companies to help them stay in business. He spoke earlier on Business Live.
Much concerned, and we sympathize with companies who find themselves in this situation. What we are doing at the moment is, as much as possible, companies, we have contracts with them as a way of servicing the syndication. We'll try and meet their expectation, as well as also ensuring that we are able to get products or cocoa beans for the processing factories. Indeed, as we move into the light crop season, that is where most of these companies get their crop or their preferred crop. We shall ensure that we are able to get them enough beans for them to come back or for them to continue processing. We admit it's a challenging moment, but this is a situation across the world where cocoa production generally is suffering. Of course, there are those who say that, yes, it has accounted for a better price at the international market, but what is better price when the cocoa farmers are not getting the cocoa to be able to take advantage of the price we are seeing at the international market at the moment? But for the companies, our expectation is that immediately we start receiving cocoa from the light crop season, we shall ensure that we get them cocoa beans for them to stay in business by processing.
The African Development Bank is projecting a modest 2.8% growth rate for Ghana in 2024 from the estimated 1.5% forecast in 2023. According to the bank, the modest growth reflects the ongoing fiscal consolidation and high inflation weighing on household budgets. This was disclosed today in AFDB's 2024 Africa's Macroeconomic Performance and Outlook. Here is a Business Desk report.
Madam Gorgieva in the letter added that Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam's leadership is also very important.
The forecast by the African Development Bank is in line with that of the government. However, Ghana's growth rate of 2.8% in this year will be the lowest in the West African sub-region. According to the African Development Bank, the ongoing International Monetary Fund program will impact the private sector and household consumption. This will limit their spending. Again, the price of goods and services will remain high. In West Africa, Ghana and Nigeria will be the two countries that will grow below the region's average of 4.0%. Meanwhile, Niger will record the highest growth rate of 11.2% in Africa in 2024, aided by hydrocarbon production and export.
The managing director of the International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva, has promised the fund's support for the new Minister of Finance, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam. This was captured in a letter from the managing director to Dr. Amin Adam. George Yafe has the rest of the story.
Madam Gorgieva in the letter added that Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam's leadership is also very important and essential in sustaining the momentum when it comes to the IMF program performance as well. The letter by the managing director of the IMF is coming at a time that, in the recent interview, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam himself has maintained that he would do everything to ensure that Ghana's program with the IMF is unaffected anyway going forward. He has also promised to make revenue mobilization his priority to ensure that the country is able to raise the required funds to finance its rising expenditure.
Meanwhile, economist Dr. Patrick Isuming stated that the letter confirms the fund's commitment to continue the program with Ghana. He spoke to Joy Business.
I don't really expect that the change in the personnel at the Ghana's Ministry of Finance will change anything. The program and the timing of the review has already been determined. And don't forget that the incoming minister has been part of the finance ministry for a while. And so it's really more of a continuity. But, don't forget with these things, once there's a change in personnel, there's always a chance that people might think that changing, new king, new law. So it was just necessary for both sides to confirm that, we are going ahead with the program as planned. The change of personnel doesn't mean change of plans. So I think we shouldn't expect any changes either in the broader content of the program or the timing of our reviews. I expect that things will continue as expected.
Government is targeting $1 billion annually from salt mining. Chief Executive Officer of the Minerals Income Investment Fund, Edward Nanaya Kranting, told Oxford Business Economics Africa that Ghana has already invested $30 million in the salt value chain to enhance local content participation.
Investing $30 million in salt. And salt has 14,000 uses. Ghana is looking at how we are able to invest in this to expand the value chain of salt usage. We're looking at pharmaceuticals, bicarbonate soda, food preservation, textiles, and aluminium casings. And we are investing in electrochem. Electrochem is managing a 41,000 acre Adasongo space. The biggest salt production company in sub-Saharan Africa, Walvis Bay in Namibia. Bay is about 16,700 acres of salt. We have in Ghana at a potential of 99.9% industrial salt or purity is 41,000 acres. That is more than twice the size of the Walvis Bay. And Ghana is positioning itself as the #1 salt producer in sub-Saharan Africa. There's the potential of Ghana making about $1 billion every year from salt alone. The government of Ghana in this vein has set up the Minerals Income Investment Fund, a specialty sovereign wealth fund dealing mostly with minerals. The whole idea is to develop ways and means in which Ghana can benefit from the entire value delivery system of mining. And Ghana value from mining, as we've seen in countries like South Africa, Canada, Australia, China, etc. We gather all the royalties and re-inject into the mining space as investment. The other bit has to do with the management of government of Ghana's equity interest in mining companies.
Now, more than 400 small and medium enterprises have benefited from the collaboration between the Ghana Enterprises Agency and the German corporation to support small businesses with digital innovation training. The project aims at sustainable growth of these SMEs, particularly women-led, through the use of digital tools and e-commerce visibility. There is more in the following report.
The training program was designed to fully leverage the potential of digitalization with accounting software solutions and others to improve their financial management systems. Speaking at the closing ceremony for the beneficiaries, Chief Executive of the Ghana Enterprises Agency, Kosi Yankee Ayer, told Joy Business that this will go a long way to solve many challenges women face in accessing a wider market.
We looked at the processes of the businesses. So you take an SME and the process from start to beginning. What are some of the challenges and how does technology or digitalization play a role? The first thing we realized was access to markets. So we helped them build websites, strengthen their social media presence. If they didn't have a social media presence, we put them on social media. So all the tools that would get them to strengthen their e-commerce online. And the second thing we actually also did was looking after the e-commerce and looking at the access to market component was even the tools they had to strengthen their existing business. So in terms of accounting, how do you use technology to strengthen your accounting real time, to build your revenues, to strengthen your profitability? So having that as well. How do you sell products? How do you even market your business? How do you network online? And so all these were tools that were utilized. Those were things that we brought on board for the partners to be able to grow their businesses.
The German corporation, which has spent about 6 million cedis on the project, believes that the only way for Ghanaian SMEs to penetrate international markets is through digitalization. Team lead on Invest for Jobs at the German corporation, John Duty, explains the need for such investments in the sector.
As I said, is either you digitalize or you perish. In this competitive world, everybody is going online to look for products. So you could have the best of products, but if you are not reachable on the digital space, then of course nobody will know what you do. So we think that with this 6 million, targeting more than 400 SMEs, I sincerely think is worth it. And as we're speaking with them in there, some of them already have completed their websites, and you can go on it and see what they are really selling.
The closing ceremony afforded beneficiaries the opportunity to share experiences as well as market some of their products.
The Association of Ghana Startups has blamed the delay in drafting the startup bill on lack of resources. The association has made an appeal for support for startups despite the challenges being faced in passing the bill. Speaking to Joy Business at a startup ecosystem mix-up program, President of the association, Solomon Ajay, expressed hope the bill will be passed by the end of the year. Here's more.
Ghana Startup Ecosystem Mixer brought together companies, startups and entrepreneurs to network, interact and engage in conversations around partnerships, funding, mentoring and market accessibility. Speaking to Joy Business, President of the Association of Ghana Startups, Solomon Eje, expressed worry about the delay in the drafting of the startup bill, blaming the situation on the lack of resources, thereby impeding its passage. He said a smooth passage of the bill will empower and grow the SME sector.
We have delayed in the drafting stages because of the system in place. You need to go around the entire country and engage as many people as possible. We've been doing this since 2019. Unfortunately, with limited resources, so it's been difficult for us. But by the grace of God, we are almost through the drafting stage, and we're hoping that we'll push to Parliament as soon as possible. First quarter of this year, it should go to Parliament, and then we're hoping that it will get passed before the political Zoom season actually zooms in. And so, yes, for me, the delays is practically because we don't have the needed support that we need in terms of funding to do all the things that we need to do.
Co-founder and director of Strategy Scale Up Africa, Amajampo, urged entrepreneurs not to relax on their oars, but rather take advantage of the existing platforms to market themselves to make a meaningful impact.
And that's coming up in the system is not to just do what everyone is doing on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. We have a lot of fashion designers, a lot of makeup artists, a lot of, there's a lot of that going on. Creative industry, I'm a huge supporter of a creative industry, but there's only so far we can go with the same types of activities going on. So I would really encourage people to be very critical about the problems. We have so many problems and challenges. How do we innovate and create businesses that are based on social needs that are massive in nature? Right, that the average person, the average Ghanaian or the average African cross borders can actually support and engage with. And of course, we're talking about the digital economy as well. It's a huge opportunity, right? How do we leverage businesses with technology to reach new markets and and solve new problems?
Meanwhile, the Association of Ghana Startups said the mixer sets a strong foundation for growth, collaboration and collective success of startups across the country.
From startups, MTN has justified the recent tariff increase for its services and products, insisting it was needed to save the business from collapsing. The telecom giant earlier this month increased the prices for all its services by 15%, citing rising operational costs. However, this didn't go down well with some subscribers. Here's Chief Executive of MTN Ghana, Seloma Dadivo, reacting to this on PM Express Business Edition.
Now, the decision, first of all, to increase price was a tough one. I mean, you look at an environment where inflation, at the end of 2022 was at 54% or something. You look at interest rates within the country going up significantly on borrowed funds. You look at our forex environment, the devaluation, which also meant that, our plans to expand infrastructure, which are all paid for in dollars, get under a lot of pressure. So on the one hand, we have this very high expectation of service delivery, as we've been talking about. But on the other hand, all the factors that affect our ability to fund improvements in service delivery, there's some expectation that they are insulated from the realities of the environment within which we operate. So the reality is, if inflation has gone up 40-50% and price increases of 15% have been put in place, you're not making up the impact on your cost basis, right? So for me, it was a modest price increase to reduce the total impact of the external shocks on the business, but acknowledging that to completely nullify those effects will be too extreme on our customers. And it's that consideration that led us to a position of about a 15% price increase. Now I can understand, customers wouldn't look at it from that perspective, right? And that's fair. However, the reality is a lot of our customers have businesses, and in their businesses, they've had increases in price. But it's acceptable to do it in those businesses, but not acceptable to do it on the telecom side. And I think it's just, we really have to be fair when it comes to business decision making and understand the considerations that have gone in. I would wish that we could continue to run this business with no price increases. But the fact is, if the external environment and all the other factors that we're exposed to, fuel, for example, right, our utility costs, and our general operating costs also went up significantly because, you have to power your sites, and those have gone up, over 40%. So these are all exposures for us, and none of us sit here, excited about doing a price increase, but it really had to be done. And I hope that our customers.
Some cybersecurity experts are calling on the Cybersecurity Authority to improve its efforts to clamp down on online shopping scammers. In 2023, Ghana lost at least 3.5 million CDs through online shopping and romance scams. This worrying trend could derail the country's efforts at leveraging fintech in driving financial inclusion. Speaking on Joy Business Social, Daniel Intiamwa, a cybersecurity analyst, charged the authority to implement practical solutions which will make it easy for users to distinguish between original accounts and fake ones.
If everybody at all can open anything at all on those platforms, then we are basically not going anywhere. Because people are going to be scammed or frauded, and then all they can do is just report it, and then there will be no outcome, no material outcome from that. So they can sell, of course, but if you really want to tackle it, TSA should stop putting out communiques and things, and then when I'll back out something, because at the end of the day, if people are going to lose money anyway, and then this thing doesn't happen only in Ghana, it happens everywhere. Fraud and scams will never stop. The only way in order to work around this is by ensuring identity of marketplaces that are online. So just like when you're trying to enroll onto a fintech platform, you need certain IDs and all. Like you need a Ghana card, you need some of this, any country issued identity. The same thing for marketplaces. You need to provide certain identities in order to be able to sell online. It's as simple as that. That's the only way we can talk about ensuring some level of decorum or sanity on the online space.
That'll be all for Prime Business. My name is Emma Davis. For more business news, do log on to myjoyonline.com. Up next.